Two of your relatives did this to you badly and changed your life's destiny without telling you. Archangel Michael says, listen closely, because the hour you finally learn the hidden truth is the hour your destiny remembers its original path. Tonight, the past unbuttons its collar and admits what it did in secret hallways when you were too young to recognize the pattern. The wind outside is ordinary, but the message riding inside it is not, and it is addressed entirely to you. You felt it before you knew it, a thin pull in your chest each time a good thing arrived and then slid away for no reason. You thought it was bad luck, or your own fault, or a season that would pass if you worked harder and smiled longer. But this was engineered, carefully and coldly, by two people who ate at your table, laughed in your light, and rewrote pages in your story when your back was turned. They did not just act, they planned. One carried bracelets that sang when she moved, a sound that used to calm you because it felt like home. The other smelled faintly of ink and metal, always near papers, always helpful, always in the room when signatures were required. Years ago, they learned something bright was set apart for you. It might have been a scholarship letter, a property right that ripened in your name, a first gate to a life of ease, something precise and generous with your name on it in a confident hand. The two of them stood together at a crossroads and chose not to tell you. Worse, they chose to bend the signpost so you would walk a longer road, a dustier one, a road that kept blessing delayed until it almost forgot your face. They began with small edits, because destiny tolerates small edits when the heart is distracted. An address changed by one digit on a form, a phone call missed and never returned, a folder reshelved behind duller folders that no one opens. Then, when they saw the world keep bringing you goodness despite their nudges, they graduated to bolder acts, trusting your trust to cover their tracks. You remember the day a letter arrived, heavy and promising, and vanished before evening. You remember the mistake with your date of birth that cost an opportunity you loved. You remember how a banker smiled at you with apology for a problem that made no sense, and how both of them were standing behind you, comforting, insisting, these things happen. They were the things. When your name came up in a will, scribbled in ink that glowed like morning on a river, one of them visited an office you've never seen. It was not dramatic. It was a chair, a stapler, a quiet conversation about efficiencies, a suggestion that a bequest be consolidated for simplicity, which is how thieves dress in public. Your share was diluted, absorbed into the fog of family arrangements, and you were told to be proud that you were taken care of. When your talent drew notice from a mentor who saw you clearly, the other relative made sure a meeting was rescheduled, and then rescheduled again, until a different name lived in the space meant for you. They did it with manners. They did it with tea. They did it in a way that made you thank them for their coordination, and the sting you felt later, alone, you named coincidence so your heart would not harden. Even your friendships weren't spared. When new people arrived, the kind that opened doors just by standing near them, your phone glitched, your messages got stuck, and introductions were forgotten. The bracelet wearer laughed it off and told stories about you that sounded loving but left a faint acidic taste after the laugh dissolved. The ink-stained hand adjusted a contact list and pressed save. Destiny is not a straight road, though. It is a river that detours, gains volume, and refuses to die just because two stones sit where it wants to pass. That is why you are here reading this, the words landing like little hammers on the glass of a long winter. You survived the edits. You endured the delays. Now comes unveiling. I will show you the trail they forgot to sweep. It begins with a calendar from a year you try not to revisit. Look closely and you'll notice duplicate appointments with different titles, both connected to you, both at the same hour. One was the real meeting meant to lift you, the other a decoy sent to keep you busy, helping with family matters. You chose family, because that is who you are, a choice they counted on and exploited. Open the cupboard with the plastic containers that never matched their lids. Behind the faded bowls, there is a small envelope, taped to the wood, where a paper once lived. It is gone now, but the tape is still there, a sticky comet tail. That paper was a receipt for a withdrawal against a policy you didn't know bore your name. The bracelet wearer kept it for a while, then moved it to a safer place after you almost found it while looking for the cinnamon. Destiny keeps records even when people don't. There is an old text on an older phone, a message thread where the two of them discussed you in euphemisms. Let's not overwhelm them with options. They're not ready to handle that scale. Better to keep it in the circle until they're more grounded. They spoke as if protecting you. They were protecting their own plans that depended upon your delay. Think about the week you were ill and grateful for their help. The ink-stained fingers paid your bill, and you blessed the gesture, not knowing the account used was an investment opened with funds earned by your work and then managed by them until you got stable. Stability was the leash. You will want to know why. Many betrayals look complicated, but all of them rhyme with fear, fear of your rise, fear of being outshone by your ease, fear that your abundance would make them confront the narrow rooms they chose to live in. There is also the old stew of scarcity talking through their mouths. Once it has you, it does not release you easily. And then there is envy, that slow poison that smiles from familiar faces because it thinks you won't call it by its name. What do you do now? First, you stop carrying their secrets for them. You are not a vault for other people's sabotage. You are allowed to say, "This happened to me," and watch the air change when truth enters a room that has known only politeness. Speaking is a locksmith. Second, you gather your documents and hold them like a mirror to the past. Certificates, contracts, letters, emails that felt odd and were waved away. Stack them in a quiet hour and let your eyes trace patterns your mind is brave enough to see now. If something important arrives in your memory while doing this, write it on a card in simple words. Call each card a key. Keys belong in your hand, not in anyone else's pocket. Third, you decide how to confront without sacrificing your peace to their chaos. A confrontation is not a storm, it is a door presented with a firm knock. You do not need to shout. You need to be specific. Choose sentences that begin with, "On this date, in this office, this was changed," and watch how excuses crumble when details stand like witnesses who don't blink. The truth will reveal allies you didn't know you had. There is a neighbor who once signed for a package addressed to you that never reached you. There is a junior clerk who remembers a last-minute alteration to a registration form and wondered why your signature looked slightly different. There is an old friend your relatives discouraged you from calling. Call them now, and listen to what they were told about you that made no sense then and even less sense now. As you recover the river of your life, something beautiful happens. The future notices and bends back toward you. Opportunities that felt closed reappear in a different shape. A course you always wanted is offered online with better terms. A mentor you lost touch with writes unexpectedly. A buyer who ignored your work messages is suddenly eager after seeing your portfolio on a different platform you almost didn't join. Fate is not resentful, it is patient and quick on its feet. Do not waste energy rewriting their character in your mind into something forgivable before it is truly ready to be forgiven. Forgiveness is not a receipt you hand to someone while their pockets are still full of your things. Forgiveness is a river you will walk into at the appointed time. It will find you. Right now, the work is reclamation. Reclamation looks like this. You change passwords that were once managed by other people. You call institutions and request full statements mailed to your own address, not to a family address that was used for convenience. You insist that your email is the email of record. You establish a boundary around your day so that sudden, urgent family errands stop draining the hours you need to build the life you own. You will feel a strange sadness as power returns. It is the grief of recognizing how long you were tender to people who were not tender with you. Let that grief pass through. It does not diminish your goodness to acknowledge that it was misplaced in places. In fact, it refines your kindness into something with a spine. There is also anger. Anger is a clean flame when it remembers why it was born. Let it heat, but don't let it scorch your judgment. Use it to light the lamps in rooms they kept dark. Use it to keep you awake long enough to finish the forms they relied on your exhaustion to avoid. Use it to boil water for tea after you send the email that says, "Per our records, this belongs to me." One evening, soon, you will dream of two roads. On one, you walk with them, and the road loops in a circle that looks different each lap but never changes. On the other, you walk alone at first, then with new people whose faces are unfamiliar but whose presence feels like a hammock in warm shade. You will try to choose the loop out of habit. A small blue feather will land on your shoulder, and you will remember this message. Choose the second road. Destiny, when tampered with, still leaves crumbs of original instruction. You will find them in songs that make you cry without knowing why, in the way your hands relax when doing work you were born to do, in the uncanny way strangers describe you in words your younger self would recognize like an address. Follow those crumbs. They are not random. They are coordinates to the life that refused to forget you. There will be a conversation with the bracelet wearer. It will be in a quiet kitchen where light glows on a kettle and the table has a tiny chip you trace with your finger when you are nervous. Don't reach for explanations to make her comfortable. Ask for records, and wait. If she laughs, wait. If she deflects, wait. When she finally realizes waiting won't make you soft, she will tell you a version of the truth that sounds like a sacrifice she made. You will hear the hollow places in it. Keep your voice level. Ask again for the documents. There will also be a conversation with the ink-stained one. He will offer to clean everything up if you just leave it with him a little longer. Decline with gratitude you don't feel, and reclaim the file. If he presses, say, "I'll manage." If he warns you about how complicated these matters can get, say, "I'm comfortable with complexity." Complicated is a word people use when they want you to think you need them more than you need your own clarity. Do not argue about your character. You know who you are. Argue for your paperwork. Argue for dates, amounts, signatures, addresses, passwords, authorizations. Argue for your right to be copied on every message about you. In time, arguments will not be needed, because you will build a world where those rights are not negotiated, they are assumed. Your body will feel different when you begin to win. Your breath will wake you before your alarm, eager like a dog at a door. Food will taste like it did when you were a child in a summer that felt endless. You will notice your reflection has shifted, same face, but a steadier gaze. That is destiny stepping back into your shoulders. New doors will open, and try not to flinch when they do. You were trained to distrust ease, because ease meant a trap. You were taught that joy comes after you have proven you can carry sadness without complaint. But this next room does not require you to bow to enter. It requires only your decision to walk through without asking someone else to watch your bag. This is also a season to sort the rest of your circle with gentleness and clarity. Some friends were friends with the edited version of you. They may not know how to hold your unedited self. Watch how they react when your wins arrive. If they rotate the conversation back to their needs every time, you are not obligated to shrink so they can feel tall. Respect their path, and keep walking yours. Speak to younger you, because they lived through years of confusion you can now name. Tell them, you weren't imagining it. You were right to feel what you felt. You survived a theft that never bruised your skin but touched everything else. Thank them for keeping the flame. Promise them that, from here, you will be the adult who guards the threshold. If you have children or younger kin watching you, let them see you correct the record with dignity. Let them see what it looks like to set a boundary without spectacle. Let them see you fail at it one day and succeed the next, and let them see you smile at yourself during both. This is how you end the habit of harm-wearing family's face. This is how you erect a lantern where before there was only a hush. The two who did this to you will feel what they never thought they'd have to feel, the weight of being seen. One will do penance publicly because image matters to them more than mending. The other will pretend confusion and stagger into silence when confusion stops working. They will learn something you learned the hard way, that time always tells on us. The ledger is patient, but it balances. As you move forward, don't replace vigilance with paranoia. The point is not to live suspicious. The point is to live awake. Your intuition, which they taught you to mute so you'd be easier to direct, is your best counsel now. If a door feels wrong, it is not your door. If a room chills your stomach, step outside. If a person speaks to you like you are lucky to breathe near them, remember that luck is not a person and your breath answers to no one. You will have soft days, too, days of laughter so easy it scares you, because you haven't felt it without permission in a long while. Keep those days simple. Make soup. Walk to the market and take the long way home. Put tulips on the table just because. Tell the story of yourself to yourself in a kinder voice than the one they used when they needed you small. There will be a letter you write and never send. It will say everything you wished they had said to you when walls were being built around your sunrise. Keep it, because it is a map. It shows you the place in you that aches and the place in you that knows what to do. One day, when someone else sits at your table and tells you their own version of your story, you will read them a paragraph from this unsent letter, and they will leave lighter than they arrived. That is how you turn a wound into a well. If you choose accountability, not revenge, you become taller in a way height cannot measure. If you choose truth, not spectacle, you become louder in a way silence can hear. If you choose to keep your heart clean while insisting your name be honored, you become the person you once thought lived only in movies, a person whose very presence keeps rooms honest. Your relatives may ask for another chance. You may give it or withhold it, both are holy when chosen honestly. A second chance is not a discount code. It is a contract. If they agree to terms they never thought you'd be brave enough to name, transparency, separation of roles, documented decisions, you will witness a miracle people rarely talk about, family becoming trustworthy on purpose. If they refuse, your miracle is different. You will learn how to live richly without their permission. You will build rituals that knit your days back into a tapestry with your favorite colors. You will become fluent in your own timing. And your life will hum with a music that makes passers-by turn their heads and smile at nothing in particular. One afternoon, you will open a box you haven't opened in years. Inside will be ordinary things, a scarf, a photograph, a pen that doesn't write. Beneath them, surprisingly, an envelope with your name in a handwriting you recognize and miss. It is a letter from someone who loved you cleanly, telling you that the path was always yours, even in detours, and that nothing truly yours is lost, only delayed until you can receive it with both hands. You will cry, and it will be rain on a field that has been waiting. What they took, they did not destroy. What they delayed, they did not deny. What they edited, they did not author. You are the author. The pen is back in your hand. You are not late, you are precisely on time for the you who does not disappear to keep others comfortable. Tonight, when you turn off the last light, whisper your name out loud and listen to how it fills the room. Say it again, slower, like a vow and a welcome. You will feel a subtle click inside your chest, a hinge remembering its original angle. That is destiny realigning. That is the sound of your life coming back to meet you at the exact distance your courage can travel. Hold steady now. The season ahead is bright and exacting. It will ask you to show up for yourself daily, to take the extra step, to refuse the old exhaustion pacifier, to celebrate small wins like they are practice for large ones. It will bring people who speak fluent integrity. It will bring doors that expect you to knock and step in. It will bring mornings that smell like clean paper and nights that feel like honest rest. And when you wonder if you imagined all of this, if maybe you made the betrayal bigger than it was, or the recovery brighter than it can be, touch the stack of keys you made from old memories and say, these are not stories, these are facts. Then lift your chin a little, because Archangel Michael says the guardians who watch your road are already moving ahead of you, making room where two small hearts once tried to make it narrow. This is the chapter in which you breathe differently. This is the chapter in which your signature lands on the right line and stays. This is the chapter in which the good that has been hovering above you for years finally finds the landing strip it was promised. Walk it. It belongs to you. Archangel Michael says, the path ahead is clean and bright, but we will walk it with deliberate steps, because what was tangled over years does not unwind in minutes. Breathe and stand in the doorway of the life that is returning to you by name. I will guide your hands while your courage guides your feet. Begin with the small room you avoid, the drawer with cables, expired cards, and the pen that leaks. Take it to a table in good light. Sort the contents into 3 neat stacks. Proof of who you are, proof of what you own, and proof of what they touched. You will be surprised how quickly the 3rd stack grows once your eyes learn what to notice. Call this your first audit, not of money alone, but of narrative. Your life story has lines crossed out and replaced. The audit is where you restore authorship. You will write a simple inventory: accounts, policies, memberships, subscriptions, deeds, diplomas, licenses, anything that points to your name having a place in the world. Each item gets a present tense status: active, dormant, unknown. Unknown means about to be known. There is a folder labeled with a year that stings. Open it anyway. Inside, a notice of non-response is clipped to an application you never saw. The ink-stained relative handled this to save you time. See the date? It was the week you were hungry for a chance and thought the universe had gone quiet. It wasn't the universe. It was a person who feared your arrival in rooms they wanted to control. Do not rush past the ache. Let it teach you what to protect. Then act. Write to the issuing office with steady words. I am following up to confirm the status of this application under my name. I did not receive prior correspondence. Please provide the full record of communications and any decisions made. Send it trackable. Put the receipt with your keys. There is also a safe password you've never used because someone else managed that for the family. Change it now. When the prompt asks if you are sure, whisper yes like a vow and a victory. You are allowed to make habits they can no longer predict. You are allowed to choose a future their hands cannot arrange. One friend will step forward exactly when you need them. They are the quiet kind who notices door hinges and shadows. They will say, I remember something odd at the bank that day, and their memory will hand you a thread. Pull it gently and keep pulling. Threads become pages. Pages become files. Files, when stacked properly, become leverage. Archangel Michael says, leverage is not force, leverage is truth given a place to stand. With it, you will move what once felt unmovable. You will write letters, not rants. You will ask for logs, not apologies. You will insist on my email for all future correspondence, and when someone tries to CC the bracelet wearer, you will kindly remove the extra recipient and continue the conversation without breaking rhythm. A day will come when you sit in a small office with a plant that is not thriving and a clock that ticks too loudly. Across the desk, a person whose job is to keep records will look at your papers and frown in the way professionals frown when something has been sloppy for too long. You will not panic. You will tell the story in clean lines. What was promised, what was diverted, what you are requesting. The person will nod, and when they leave to check with a supervisor, you will breathe with the clock and look at the plant and think, we are both going to do better than this room expected. News will move in waves. The first wave will be small corrections, an address updated, a misspelled middle name fixed, a dormant account revived with a balance that belongs to you. The second wave will be bolder, an amended record, a reinstated opportunity, a letter of acknowledgement that makes your hands shake when you read it alone. The third wave will be you, standing in rooms they once fenced off, not asking for entry, simply being where you were always meant to be. You will not forget gentleness while becoming formidable. That is your art. The world needs people who can repair without turning every repair into a battlefield. You will cultivate unglamorous stamina, showing up to the next appointment, filling the next form, making the next call even when the hold music is a loop from a tired decade. Each small completion is a stitch, 1,000 stitches make a sail. Now, about those two relatives. You owe them clarity more than you owe them comfort. Invite them separately, do not give them the shelter of each other's presence. Prepare notes as if you might forget your strength mid-sentence. You will not, but preparation is a kindness to your future self. When the bracelet wearer arrives, she will come with charm and a story. Charm is a coat, stories are weather. You don't have to stand in the rain. Say, I'm going to be specific, and then be. Dates. Offices. Signatures that are not yours. Documents that were rerouted. After each item, ask, what's your explanation? Do not fill her silence with rescuing words. Silence is where truth gets nervous and tells on itself. She will try to grab the brush and paint herself as your guardian. You will take the brush back with a sentence that begins, "A guardian does not," and ends with a fact that contradicts her myth. She may cry.